guys, welcome back. I want to run you through a preset I've created for the Fractal AX8. You can also convert this one to your AX effects if you've got the Fractal converter, which is definitely something you should download. It's a really, really great program. Anyway, I want to show you guys something pretty funny, I think. Well, it's funny now given hindsight. I was watching this video, I'll bring it up here, that someone's uploaded about the lab systems. An old like LA rack company, you know, they used to make these super high-end systems full of preamps and stuff like that. Anyway, I was watching it and I thought it was pretty cool because I love the 80s, but at the same time it's also super daggy because it was the 80s. But anyway, there's a very particular sound that they're showcasing, this one. I just love this voiceover as well. Anyway, check this tone out. So it's simultaneously the most terrible and the best kind of sound at the, you know, in that it's so dated. That's what I mean by it being terrible. It's so dated. It sounds so much like a particular era and it sounds like particular pieces of gear. However, it's also wonderful as well. And as guitar players, you know, it's kind of nice to chronicle different eras of guitar tone, which we can do on the X8. So, you know, I'll keep playing this video because this is where I got the name for the preset from. It's the LA Funk Tone. Exactly. So you can see in this picture here, there's like a DBX 160 in there, a TC 2290 for delay, Lexicon, what is that? Probably a PCM 70 in there. You know, these are all classic rack units and some kind of like Mesa, I don't know, either a quad or a studio preamp in there. So in order to replicate that, what I've done is I've got the studio comp in here and I zoomed in on that video and looked at the settings and then looked at a picture of the DBX and copied the settings as best I can. You can see the ratio is maxed out because essentially acting as a limiter. No, well, I shouldn't say that. A limiter would have, you know, a hypothetical infinite ratio, but I've cranked the compressor as much as I can. I've set the knee on softer. We can play around with this. Threshold of -30. It's the first thing in there. It's set to instrument. No, it's not set to instrument level because you don't need to worry about that on the studio comp. Then I'm using the USA Clean preamp, Mesa preamp. I've, you know, just basically dialed in a clean sound that I like. I've scooped it right out with the graphic EQ and used a little bit of output comp. So let's have a listen to this with all the effects turned off first. Just the amp and the cab. And by the way, the cab is a V30 loaded. Oh no, it's not. I lie. It's a 2x12 deluxe. Not a deluxe, like a 2x12 twin thing. It's late, I apologize. Anyway, let's have a listen to the amp tone. I'm playing a Strat with EMGs in it as well for that extra 80s authenticity. Here it is on the bridge. Bridge and middle. Middle. Middle and neck. And neck. So, I mean, that's a really, really basic clean sound. When we add the compressor to that, I'm going to play really lightly and harder. Which is, it's kind of like trying to emulate that sort of pumping sound that's going on in there. So I think that's pretty cool. If you play around with the knee setting, you can get closer to that. You know, it sounds like the compressor's kind of breathing in the video. Setting it to hard actually seems to get it a little bit closer, so I'm going to leave it there. And, you know, we've got this stereo tri-chorus in there, which... There you go. There's the 80s right there. play some sus2 chords and as you can see, I've been pretty conservative with the rate and the depth. Auto depth is set on low and mix is at 50%, so pretty standard. Whoops, I should really leave that at 50 and not touch it. My mistake. So the tri-chorus in this sounds great. Then I'm going to add the 2290 delay with a bit of modulation. Delay time's at 400 milliseconds, just the smallest amount of mix. But we can bring that up if we really like. And you can play around with the feedback if you want more feedback, you know, for more of the ambient kind of vibe. But yeah, if you're trying to play funky stuff, that's kind of going to get in the way a little bit. So I'll set that a bit lower, and I will set the mix lower as well. So straight away, I mean, you can hear this is going to work for if you're playing in an 80s cover band or something like this. This would be a really good go-to clean sound. And the last thing I've added, as I said in the video, is a little bit of plate reverb. My favorite one is the London plate, but in this case I've used a small plate, connected it in parallel so I can mix it in, you know, a little finer, I guess. So, and there we go. There's the ultimate 80s funk sound. There you go. This would be a good, if you change the ratio, you know, maybe to something a bit more conservative, like say 4, so you still have some dynamics intact. And change the knee setting to softest. It actually makes a really good, you know, kind of Whitesnake 1987 clean tone. But change the knee setting and crank the ratio and you get this. So there you go, simultaneously the best and the worst clean sound you will hear today. And thank you to David Peterson for uploading that Lab System demo video. I watched that, and even though I wasn't alive, well, I was alive at the very end of the 80s, I wasn't old enough to play a Lab Systems rack. It made me really nostalgic in a way. And, you know, why not recreate it in the AX8? So there we go. I'm going to do some more videos for you guys. Please subscribe, tell your friends, tune in, and I'll see you soon. I'll also make this preset available for you all. Cheers.